Put your shoes on, we got a long walk home. And grab your pitchfork and your torch, it's a long dark road. And if you stay close to me, we'll make it through the night. You know the monsters come out when they see the street lights.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Everyday Voices of the Paranormal. This is your host, Reverend Jamie McCaskill. With me always is
Jon Campbell.
And today, guys, some of you may not know, but Everyday Voices of the Paranormal originally started as a YouTube channel where me and another person were going to review movies and paranormal equipment and unbox paranormal things, maybe haunted objects, stuff like that. But that just didn't work out in the long run. And then, of course, like way later, me and John were talking about doing a podcast, and we just took the name. And today with us, is the original co-host of Everyday Voices of the Paranormal, Tracy. Hey, Tracy.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, Tracy came into FPI back when it first started in 2010. I believe it was
2010. Yep.
Yeah, and first it started off with me and two others. We had the new newspaper article, and then Tracy responded to that newspaper article with some members of her family. And Tracy was with FPI for a long time. She worked her way into becoming the case manager. So anybody that came in with needing help, first person they talked to was Tracy. Well, besides me through email, was Tracy. And Tracy's been in the paranormal ever since then, as far as I know.
Yes. Long time ago.
Yeah. So Tracy, I know you've talked about it in the newspaper articles that we've done. You've talked about it in the History of Fostoria Volume 3, which is out now. Anybody wants to find them, they're here in Fostoria. But few of these people, the majority of our listeners have never heard your story on how, your first paranormal experience. So if you want to share that, it'd be a good time to do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, from childhood, so, you have those childhood fears, and worried about the boogeyman coming out of your closet. And, well, years ago when I was a little girl, my parents used to talk to me about things that went on in our house as a child. And I never seen it myself, but I felt it. But as I got older, one day my first husband and I were sleeping. We just went to bed. I used to leave the hallway light on for my son Kyle. So when he had to get to go potty that, he could see. Well, we had wooden floors, and we could hear, it sounded like someone walking through the hallway, and we thought it was Kyle. We kept telling him it was time for night-night to go to bed. And he would say, "But I am in bed, Mommy." And I said, "No, Kyle, Mommy can hear you." And then he started crying. And I thought, he's just being a little boy. Anyway, when he started crying, he said, "Mommy's shadow's going to bite me." And I told him, I said, "Kyle, nothing's going to bite you. It's okay." Well, then we would hear the footsteps again. And my husband at the time had touched me on the shoulder. I was half asleep, touched me on the shoulder and told me to look out in the hallway. And when I looked out the hallway, there was a shadow of a man. You could really see it was a man. He had on a fedora hat. And he was rocking back and forth. I could see him clearly rocking back and forth in the hallway. And as he was rocking back and forth, I could hear the floor creaking. And that's the sound I was hearing. And I still wasn't thinking anything paranormal because I was still skeptical at the time. And then my husband jumps up and flips on the light, and it totally disappears. It's gone. And we're walking through the house, and all the doors are still locked, and the windows are still locked, and we never, ever found anything that would think that there was someone inside of our home other than something paranormal. Mm-hmm. So that was my very, very first time seeing something. And that's what got me started into the paranormal.
First time I've heard this. That's cool.
Well, I talked about it on our documentary we made.
Yeah, the history of Fostoria, Volume 3. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she talked about it there. She talked about it in a couple of newspaper articles too that we were in.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that house is now gone, right? That's one of the ones that was torn down right there by Kroger, if I remember.
Actually, no, the house is still there, and it's a duplex. Yes, and there are people that's living on both sides.
Oh, okay.
And not that long ago, I had talked to somebody who's living there, and they didn't know I was living there, and they had told me that how creepy that house was, and how they had all these experiences, and they were surprised when I told them about my experience there when I lived there. So
where is this at?
It was very,
it's over by Kroger, right?
Yeah, it's a house by Kroger, but you know what, John? I cannot remember the name of the street.
She
but the next time we're out, yeah, I can point it out to you if we, go out and have lunch or whatever, but I can show you exactly where it's at.
Yeah, there's so many places like that where people don't realize. I mean, you remember we got that call back to that one house after we investigated it. Like people don't realize that stuff's going on in those houses. A lot of people won't talk about it. They won't reveal to anybody that they had an experience because they're afraid, hey, they're going to think I'm crazy. And that
yeah, absolutely. And people are more open-minded now to the paranormal, which is a good thing because it's out there.
Yeah.
People are starting to get a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more open about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, you came into FBI 2010. You remember our first investigation was that. Our first investigation was that house we went to where nothing happened. That people thought that it was like TV, where it's 30 minutes in and out. But
right.
the one after that, it was over near your old place. That big house that we got asked to investigate, and that. I wish you were in then, John. Tracy could tell you the experiences we had investigating that house. You'd hear people upstairs running like they were in cowboy boots. Yeah, you would hear it while you were downstairs, and nobody else is in the house. We would have like motion sensors just go off, and the motion sensors would be fine. You'd go out on the porch, shut the door because we were taking a break, and as soon as we would shut that door, the motion sensors would go off.
Yeah, I remember that, and I believe wasn't there a time that it was me and Jen, and I can't remember who was with me and Jen. Maybe Candy. We were upstairs and we were trying to catch EVPs. And one of the classic EVPs we got, which was very, very funny that it said that, but it said "get out."
Yeah, and it was a man's voice.
It was a man's voice, yes.
Yeah, and it was you, Monica, Jennifer, Trey. I want to say Candy was up there with you.
Yes, Monica was one of them. Yeah, you're right. It was me, Monica, Candy, and Jen.
Yep. And I think it wasn't there the ladies. Were y'all the only ones? I can't remember because y'all did a ladies only one there too. It was just all you girls. I can't remember if that was that day. Or
you know what? Honestly, I don't remember either.
Yeah, because I remember y'all did one where it was all you girls did an investigation there.
Yeah. I remember. I can't, like I said, I can't recall if that was the same night or not because we did quite a bit. We did a lot of training in that house too. So
we were allowed to use it for a training house. We had the key.
I think I remember you guys talking about it.
Yeah. Sadly, from what I understand now, like a bunch of people who are like on drugs live in it now. So
where's that house at?
You're right because I still live in this neighborhood and there's a lot that goes on over there.
Yeah, Tracy can show it to you. It's over by her house.
Yeah, I will do that. There's a lot I can show you, John.
Yeah. Yes, I don't want to reveal like location on the air, but yeah, it's over there by Tracy's house.
Yeah, it's over by Tracy's. Again, yeah.
It's Tiffin Avenue, I think's the name of that street, right?
Yes, on Tiffin. Yep, yeah. You're right.
I can reveal that much because Tiffin Avenue goes for a while.
I think the house that we talked about in the beginning where I had my first experience, it actually was on High Street.
Okay,
over by Kroger. Yeah, on High Street.
Yeah, that place was amazing. That house over by Tiffin.
So when I joined FPI, the group had the museum. So, and you investigated there many times. What is your favorite either evidence or experience from there that you can recall?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Or Jamie?
You.
Okay. Oh gosh, I don't know. There were so many of them. So many. I think the little girl upstairs in the museum, when we got a photo, what looked like her sitting on the bed. Do you recall that, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember.
And my granddaughter. Yeah, my granddaughter she was little at the time. She's 11 now, but when she was probably about 3 years old, I would take her up there with me, and she would play with the little girl that was upstairs. Do you remember that, Jamie?
Yeah.
I remember being up there with you with her at least once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She used to say, "Grandma, can I go play with that little girl?" You know, she was just called her the little girl. She didn't really give me a name.
That was one thing none of us
yeah.
ever found out.
No.
What her name was.
Nope.
No.
And Alyssa didn't even tell me her name either. she just said the little girl. That's what she called her.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot. Sorry.
That's a lot to do with her up there.
Yeah, and I think another one is when Keith Age was there during the investigation, and he got that reading off the statue in the what was that, the medical room area?
Yeah, that statue of that head up on the shelf.
Yes, that was very interesting. That he got that. It was wasn't it a warm reading off of his thermal camera? Yeah,
it was warm, but the room was cold.
Yes, the room was cold. Yeah, because I think it was around this time of the year that he investigated.
Yeah, well, we were all wearing jackets because it was cold in that time.
Yeah, that was interesting as well.
Yeah, that museum was awesome.
Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss it too.
We were just talking to Darren about that in the last episode because Darren was asking if we still had it. And we were like, no, unfortunately.
One of the things my daughter talks about is when we had the gentleman come in that did the what's it called? The murder mystery.
Oh yeah, Vince Wilson.
Yes, Vince Wilson. Thank you. I couldn't remember his name, and he kept brought up her name in the murder mystery. And she's like, "Mom, I was so traumatized." She said, "You scared me so bad." And she still talks about it to this day. She tells me how much she misses going there too. But yeah, there was a lot of good experiences there. You know, we had fun times and we had a lot of paranormal times. And
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking earlier about the other day about how we did the trick or treating out front too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, we got a lot of trick-or-treaters too because people were interested and wanted to go in there, you know, the whole haunted history of it. And I think we helped with that reputation. FPI helped with the reputation that the museum now has.
Yeah, it did. They're missing out on that more than we are, but
Yeah, that's true. But what can you do, you know? I was grateful for the time that we did get to spend there and the programs and the events that we got to share with everybody there.
Yeah, me too. And you know, I was thinking the other day too, because when we first started, you know, we had that small group of people that caused a lot of trouble in their time at FBI. Not naming any names, but that one was one of the places they brought up that they wanted to investigate. Was the museum constantly during meetings bringing up what about the Fostoria Museum? It has this and this and this, and whoever knew we would have got in there.
Right.
Now, no one could have ever predicted that.
Surprised me. Yeah. Yep. I was. It was some of the best times that I think FBI had was when we were in that museum, and I would love to go back and do it again, you know, but. But maybe by chance we might get an opportunity again.
Yeah. Well, me and John have been looking into a couple places for the podcast to go do. One of them's in Tiffin. The other day we had Amanda Carl on from Browse Wild Books. We're talking about doing
Mm-hmm.
something down there. Who
That
knows?
would be interesting.
Yeah. Also, a while back, Allison and I took you and Harvest to the Bel Air house. Did you want to talk about that a little bit? Did you have fun?
Oh gosh, yes, I love the Bel Air house. I'd love to go back to that too. Yeah, great.
What experiences did you have there?
Well, I remember the day, actually the day that we went. Remember that storm that was rolling in, and the clouds got really cloudy, and the wind started blowing. It just kind of added to the creep factor of the whole Bel Air house thing.
Right.
But that night, I think when Harvest and I were staying in the room across from you, and she wanted to leave the light on, which I was okay because you kind of creeped me out with the whole door shaking thing and locked my door and all that stuff. So, we did that. We locked our door so we know no one could come in, and we left the light on. And we finally, after talking a little bit, we finally fell asleep and woke up that morning, and our light was shut off. It wasn't unplugged. The light bulb wasn't loose. Nothing. Being a paranormal investigator, you kind of check into all those possibilities. See if you can debunk it. And
it wasn't
off.
from a light switch. It was you had to turn it on at the lamp.
Yeah, yes, you had to turn it. Yes, absolutely. There's no way it could have just went off by itself. It absolutely had to have been shut off physically in order for it to go off. The light bulb wasn't loose in it. It didn't come unplugged. The light bulb didn't blow. It was just like someone walked over and shut the light off.
Yeah, that's why I always say sleep with the door locked in case something like that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and Harvest's like, you sure, that someone didn't come in? I said, no, I'm sure John didn't come in and shut our light off for us. For one, I'm a very light sleeper, I would have heard.
Yeah, the floors creak.
Two, John, yes, the doors creak, and you had told us, make sure you shut your door or it's going to keep you awake, opening and shutting the door or whatever. And I said, okay, so we did that. We shut the door and we locked it and went to bed, and sure enough, when we woke up the next morning, our light was shut off. Thank you, whoever shut it off. Whatever ghost shut it off, but apparently I was worried about us going up the bill.
While we were there, Harvest was scared to go to the bathroom by herself.
She was. She wanted me to go with her or Alice, and one of us had to go in there or at least stand by the door so she could. So she said, Mom, come to the bathroom with me. I said, Harvest, come on. She said, please. So, yeah, I walked there with her, stand outside.
Another odd thing we noticed was we started seeing change, just a bunch of change all over the place. Remember that?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and it was odd. Like, where was it all coming from? And then one morning, you went to the bathroom, and what happened?
Oh, my gosh. This is kind of an embarrassing subject, but I will put it out there. Okay, so remember you and me and Alex, we got up that morning in Harvest, and we went to Walmart, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we had come back. It wasn't early that morning. It was like, we got up early, but it was probably around 11 noon that we had come back to the house. And I had to pee. Sorry, guys, I had to. And I'm just going to put it on the air. I had to pee. Anyway, we went to the bathroom, and when I went to the bathroom, I had a quarter in my undergarments somehow.
And you were wearing a skirt that had no pockets, if I remember right.
Yes, I was wearing a skirt. Yes, I had a skirt on. It had no pockets. Believe me, I don't use that area as a pocket. So I have no idea how the quarter got there, but it surprised me. And the first thing that popped in my head was what you said about change laying everywhere, which is true, by the way. You will find quarters, randomly pennies, it doesn't even matter. And that was just a very odd area for me to find a quarter. And I was so embarrassed, I didn't even know how to tell you guys. Telling my daughter was one thing, but telling you and Alice, I was like, okay, guys, this is what I found. So, yeah.
Why couldn't
that
they have
was-
put $100 bill there?
I agree. I agree. That would have been. I probably would have told that story to everybody. Hey, guess what I found in my panties? But
Yeah, I remember doing the portal box. We got a lot of voices through that. I know some of them were pretty
that
creepy sounding too.
yeah, when Kristen brought that in, I thought that was the neatest thing because I never saw that kind of equipment before.
Mm-hmm. There's a Steve
That-
Huff box.
Yeah, the Steve Huff box, and I looked at that and I was like, oh my god! I asked Chris, I said, what is that thing? And she explained it to me, and it's like a ghost box, but it's just it doesn't have all the static and
Yeah.
and the voice that came through it was kind of like echoey a little bit. It was really really an interesting piece of equipment.
Yeah, they are cool. They are cool.
So
Yeah,
at
and
the
we
Bel
really
Air
got some.
house, do you serve coffee?
Yes.
Is it coffee brand coffee? Because
I don't even think they were around back then.
we're not allowed to drink anything but coffee brand coffee now.
Yeah, I don't think they were around back then.
Tracy, if you haven't checked out Coffee Brand Coffee, they're our sponsor, and they're right now they have. No, we don't have to talk about this right now because this isn't. We have the ad space in here, but they have going on right now because I know you're really into like the fall type things, and they have that whole fall flavor going right now.
Yum.
Yeah, they have spiked. Hold on, where did I just left the site. They have all these fall flavors going right now. They got like butterscotch. They have spiked jack-o'-lantern and pumpkin pie. I want to
that
try
would be
the
my
pumpkin
favorite.
pie.
Yeah, that would be the one I wanted to try. I just made some pumpkin spice muffins today, and this time of year, you're right. I absolutely will try their coffee with their pumpkin pie.
Yeah,
For sure.
if you do, like I tell all of our listeners in the show, use our code EVPOD. You get 10% off.
Okay.
And
I
right
will
now,
do
guys,
that.
if anybody will help us, John, I got an email the other day. If we can sell 10 flavors, well, it says 10 flavors. I'm thinking it just means 10 orders. We will become what was that word, Jennifer? Premier sponsors or something like that. People will actually be able to get more money off if we get it by using our code.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. Now, you've been doing a lot of traveling all over the country lately.
Yes, I have.
You've been to a few haunted locations. Now, I only know of one that you spoke of. Give us some of the ones that you've been to.
I've been to Mid-Pike Mansion in Alton, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Limp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri. I've been to Waverly Hills in Kentucky. I believe Keith Age is from there.
Yeah, he put that place on the map, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the Alton, Illinois Cemetery. Where else did I go? Oh my gosh. Went to Tombstone, and in Tombstone we went to the Birdcage Theater, where the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone, Arizona is a very haunted saloon. Yeah, it was very interesting. They still had the bullet holes, the original bullet holes from when they would have their gunslinging people or whatever they would do back in the
Yeah, they used to shoot it to the ceiling.
Yes, and there was. Oh, I've been to Resurrection Cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
and oh gosh, there's this one in Chicago, and I can't remember the name of it. It's a very famous cemetery, and I'm having a brain fart.
Bachelor's
I can't remember the
Grove?
name of it. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, Bachelor's Grove. I've been there as well.
Yeah.
And you've been to Zak Bagans Museum too?
Oh yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Did
I've
you
been
see
to Zak Bagans.
Did you see the doll?
I did. I did see her.
Which one?
Annabelle.
Yeah. No, Annabelle's not there.
Oh,
No, she's back in the War Museum.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yes. But the one that I thought you referred to was named Peggy. I believe her name's Peggy. And when you go in there, you have to introduce yourself to her. And they ask you not to really stare at her too long, which, believe me, I did not, because I didn't want to take nothing bad with me. But yes, they have the Peggy doll there, and they have a little place where you can leave her money, or you can leave her something personal of yours, which I had a ring on my finger, and I just left the ring at the little altar for her. But they had two human cadavers there that were skeletons. That was kind of interesting. And they had Charles Manson's ashes on display. They also had Dr. Kevorkian van that was there.
Yep.
And some of his stuff that he used. They had one of the Ghostbuster costumes there from the first Ghostbuster film. They had so many stuff there. They had
Gacy's paintings are there too.
Yes, and they have this one room in there that you have to be RIP. It's like a VIP, but they call it RIP to get in there, because it's a very sensitive room where they have photos of a serial killer they even have the bed on display that he did his killing and torturing of people. So that room right there kind of gave me a little bit of creeps, and I didn't stay in that room very
well. How much
long.
did it cost to go in there?
Honestly, it's hard to remember because my boyfriend paid for it. I think it was $100 and something for the both of us, honestly. John, I can't give you a good price because I really don't know. I know it was over $100. But we got the RP pack too. Yeah. And that was for two people, which the tour itself is at least 2 hours. So, you got a lot of walking to go through there, and they even had a small room that you can crawl through that was pitch black. It was like a little maze that you crawl through on your hands and knees and come out on the other side. But I later found out that you could actually stand up in there, and Edward and I are crawling on our hands and knees through this thing. So, because the door to it is so small, you have to get on your hands and knees to even enter it. So I just stayed that way throughout the whole thing. And then you have to be on your hands and knees again to get out the door, because the other side of the door is small as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of interesting stuff. I definitely would recommend it. And they have the basement down there, and the artifact down there is from that episode that Zak Bagans was in, where he had bought in that evil house in
Gary, Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah, in Gary, Indiana, that he had tore down. He's got artifacts down there from that. And you have to be an RIP to get down there too.
So
you got a whole clown section.
You got to pay again to go down there?
No. It's one. If they'll give you a lanyard that has a pass on it. And if you have that pass, it's just you pay for those things as you're checking
okay. Yeah,
in.
I see. RIP all access, $86 each.
There you go.
So that'll get you in every room. It sounds like.
Yes.
So, in all your travels, did you catch any evidence, or did you have any experiences in any of those locations?
Unfortunately, not a whole lot, because it was more for tourists at the time I went. I didn't get to do any investigation.
Gotcha.
And you guys have paranormal investigators. It's hard. You can't really do an investigation when you're walking with a bunch of people that are, you can't get. Yeah, and when you're in Waverly Hills, you're not allowed to walk in with cameras. Yes, in Waverly Hills you can't have cameras, and you can't take pictures. So
only if you
it was
book
hard
it.
to catch anything. Right? Yeah, you have to book an investigation. Now there are certain areas that they will allow you you snap photos, and they'll tell you, okay, go ahead and take photos. And so it was really, really hard to, and in Waverly Hills there's a lot of matrixing going on there too. It's just, or pareidolia,
Oh yeah.
as some people call it, because it's just, because what they do, and I'm not, I believe Waverly Hills is haunted, but for the tour part of it, they will hype you up. They'll tell you, for people that are not paranormal investigators, they just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
But when you walk into it as a paranormal investigator, you're looking to debunk and see, if you can prove or disprove a haunting. And that's exactly what we did. We went in there and said, okay, hype people up, make them think that, so, yeah, I mean, it was really hard to get anything, because, like I said, you were limited to what you were allowed to snap photos of, and you had, tours behind you, a group of people behind you that was giggling and screaming, so you really couldn't catch any EVPs if they would let you record anything.
Now, you wouldn't know who was saying what anyways with a group.
Right.
I was always disappointed when that one group showed us that EVP, and I was able to debunk it as it's obviously audio being played of Keith Age talking.
Yes. But you get people like that. I think you had that experience when you first went to one school investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had to deal with stuff like that. So I'm not going to name it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and also when you if you ever get a chance to go to the Zak Bagans Museum.
Where's that located?
Zak Bagans Museum is in Las Vegas.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Los Angeles. And again, they don't allow you to have cameras or anything. You can't take pictures of anything inside.
Well, that ruins the fun.
Yeah, well, they copyright stuff. They have you sign your life away before you even go in. You have to digitally sign. As you're going in, there's people standing out there, that's working, and, you have to sign, disclosures or whatever, and saying that if you get possessed or attacked, they're not going to be held responsible, that kind of thing, and that. So, I mean, it's worth it. I would love to walk through it again. I would. It's a very interesting. They got a lot of interesting things. A lot of things that I haven't talked about because, I totally forget about it. You go back to your photos and you say, oh, yeah, I remember that. But
now, I know you...
Yeah, it's interesting.
You've been to Post Town as well. Do you have any experiences from there that you recall?
I mean, it's stuff like, you would hear somebody running through the hallway or walking through the hallway, like a distant voice that you would turn around and say, did you say something? They say no. Nothing too much at Post Town. I wish I could have caught some photos, but I know people who's been to Post Town that had, caught photos of a shadow person or a really good EVP, or had, hands-on experience where something touched them or pushed them. But for me personally, no, I have not, other than, hearing somebody down the hallway or a voice that I can't explain will come from that I heard with my own ears, but I didn't necessarily get it on EVP, which sucks because, you always want to capture something. But unfortunately, not too much at Post Town, no.
I've had a couple things. One time I was there, and I had my FLIR sitting on one of the desks in the mean teacher room, is what it was called.
Uh-huh.
And I was sitting right next to it, and it lifted up and dropped on its own. And
oh, wow.
I had my DVR camera in there, but there was so much interference, it was too fuzzy, I couldn't see.
Yeah, that's
I was like, ugh. I would have caught something really awesome.
That's awful when that happens.
The last time we were there, something really odd, and it's something we still can't explain, happened. We had probably a total of 8 people, and we were on the second floor in one classroom, all of us. 4 of us decided to go down to the mean teacher room, so we went down the 2 little sets of stairs, turned right, started walking down, and then we heard or seen something behind us. I cannot remember if it was heard or seen, but we figured someone else was coming. But no one came, so we're like, that's odd. When we got back to the room after investigating the main teacher's room for a bit, we asked who it was, and they were like, no one. We all sat in here. They stayed in there doing EVPs and stuff. And the one guy had a young daughter. She was like 10, 11, real young. So I called.
Oh, wow.
We didn't have a DVR camera in that hallway, so we couldn't see. We had one in the other, and it got real bright at that end. We're just like, where's that light coming from? What's going on? So I called Daryl. He has DVRs in those hallways. And he looked it up. He showed us footage of that 10, 11-year-old girl leaving that classroom, walking down with a bright flashlight, and walking back. And every single person in that room is like, she didn't leave the room.
Huh.
And at 10, 11, and that she wouldn't walk off on her own.
Right.
And we're just like, well, then who or what is that? Because we could see it looked like her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I remember you saying something about that.
The dad wouldn't let her, a 10-year-old, go off on her own in the school.
Right.
Right.
We have no idea who or what it was to this day. It baffles us. We don't know if they're lying, but I don't see why they would. And I don't see her being brave enough to walk off on her own in the dark.
Right.
I don't think I'm brave enough to do that either. Let alone a 10-year-old. I get it.
It was interesting. It was one of those things that's just like, I wish I would have had one of my cameras up there too.
Right.
I had one at the end of by the mean teacher's room, that pointing down that way, and that's how we saw a bright light. I'm just like, what the hell? Who is that?
Yeah. I really miss those. Were some good times, and we've had a lot of good paranormal experiences together.
Yeah, she went with us to Sadamsville Rectory. She was there for that one. That was that was an okay investigation.
Oh boy, but who was it that scared us that morning? We were packing up our equipment and we were leaving.
Candy.
And threw a bottle of water. Was it my sister? Okay.
Yeah, she went
I
up
couldn't
there.
remember.
James left a bottle of water upstairs, and she dropped it down the stairwell. We were all getting ready to leave.
In between us.
Yeah, it's just.
And it's landed standing up?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So-
Yes, got you.
You guys have
Funny
never
girl.
been to the Gill House?
No.
That's not far,
No.
and it's active. Should go sometime. It's not expensive. I think like $20 a person.
The Gill House, huh?
Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
there.
I like
I
to go.
got a lot of good REM pod action there, which is
Isn't
rare.
that where Brandon supposedly got scared?
Yeah, he got attacked, he said.
Yeah.
He had to leave.
Interesting.
Nope.
Wow.
There's a few.
Do you remember,
places
John,
I
when-
go.
Do you remember, John, when we were at the Bel Air house and we were sitting in the seance room, and you know how the floor between the kitchen and the seance room has those little stones that,
Yes, the
Like-
bricks.
the little bricks? Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
remember us
brick
sitting
floor.
there and hearing? Yeah. Do you remember us? Like there was a loose one on there, and it sounded like someone
Yeah.
was walking back and forth on that. Do you remember
They
that?
were. Yeah, they were. They do that
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, that was
The only way to
interesting,
make
too.
that sound is to walk on it. It's an
Right,
old brick
right.
floor, and it's inside. And some of them that you step on make the sound like ching, like stone on stone.
Mm-hmm.
And the only
Yeah.
way to make that go off is if you walk on it. We were sitting in the seance room, and you could hear it like someone stepping on it.
Yeah, and it wasn't us. There was no one there but
No.
us four. Me, you, Harvest, and Allison. And we were just sitting at the table, and we were talking. All of a sudden, we could hear like someone was walking in that little hallway right there.
Yep. That also leads to the basement.
Yes, it does. I remember that.
Yep.
And the basement, it had that underground railroad, right?
They
Or
say
was it-
possibly. I don't think it's ever been proven, so I'm not 100% sure. It's possible,
Right.
but there's a cubby and it goes way back. It was a part of a wall that a hole got taken out, and you can see and there was a mirror in there and everything buried.
Yeah. It was. I wanted to go. I really wanted to go see if I could find the Indian caves. I believe
Behind
that's
there.
what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, but there was so much.
There's so much
woods
weeds and it's so steep.
Weed. Yes.
If
But
you
I
would have
really
tried, if we would have tried, we probably would have fell.
Oh gosh, I'm glad we didn't because
Kristen
I don't want
supposedly
to
knew where
fall.
those were because she was going to show me and Justin when we were supposed to go.
Yeah, the entrance to the coal mines are just down the road a little bit, and I guess they're easier to get to. Now, the Native American caves, I'm not sure, but she said it's behind the house somewhere. But the entrance to the coal mines are down the road a little bit.
Oh, that's where she was telling us about.
I really wish that I would have had the group come in and investigate my house that I currently have. I mean, my house caught on fire. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
You know, one room caught on fire, and I have to, have the electricity replaced, which is a very expensive fix, which is probably not going to happen. But the experiences that my family has had in that house as well, it would be something that I think
didn't you say something like little handprints and stuff like that?
Yeah, okay, when my grandmother lived there, and my sisters lived there, and then when my grandmother had to go to a nursing home, my sisters kind of just grew out of it and didn't want it, and also my mother told me to move in it, and I moved in it. I was moving and I hadn't moved completely in it. We were living out in the country, and while my husband was at work and the kids were at school, I'd bring Harvest, because Harvest was still very little, 2 or 3 years old, and Harvest and I would come, and I would plug in put on cartoons for her, and I would paint. And one of the rooms that I painted upstairs in my bathroom upstairs, and it was like a cream-colored paint. And then at the end of the day, when the kids were getting ready to get home from school, I'd take Harvest and drive back home and let the paint dry. Well, the next day, I come back to finish painting, and in my bathroom, the same color above my mirror, between my mirror and my ceiling, was 2 little handprints. I say the handprints of maybe a 5-year-old, where it looked like someone had touched my wet paint. A child had touched my wet paint and put their handprints above the mirror in my bathroom. And it's still there. I never painted over them. They are still up there.
I'd like
and I
to
just
see
kind of
that.
left them there.
So no one lives there
Yeah.
now?
No, my boys are in and out, but no, right now the house is vacant, and so it doesn't have any utilities turned on in it, and the room had caught on fire, so I'm living in the house behind it now.
With Candy?
But yeah, with Candy. So the house, my grandmother. I remember when my grandmother was living there, when she was still with us. I'd come to see her one day, and her and my sister Heather are both sitting in a chair. I said, "Why do you guys look like you're tired?" And Grandma's like, in her old lady self, "Oh, that dang noise upstairs," she said. I said, "Look at Heather." I said, "Heather, are you keeping Grandma up?" She said, "Nope, it kept me up too." I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" And they kept telling me how furniture. She said, "Tracy," my sister Heather said, "Tracy, there was furniture being moved around upstairs, keeping Grandma and I dragging across the floor." I go, "What furniture?" She said, "It wasn't my furniture." She said, "I could hear it. It sounded like it was in the room with me, but there was no furniture being dragged around." She said, that's what the sound was. And yeah, so it would do that every now and then and keep my mom my grandmother and my sister away. And then one time Heather said that when my niece Lacey was little, a baby, she seen what looked like a shadow figure, a blob. She called it a blob, a shadow blob, that ran from one room into my niece's bedroom to the other end of her bedroom. So there's been some experiences there, like door handles shaking. One time, my son Kyle I thought Kyle was sleeping on the couch, and I was going upstairs and I heard him say, "Mom," and I'm like, "Yeah, puppies, yeah, Kyle, what's up?" And my husband says, Kyle was upstairs in his room sleeping. And I'm like, I just heard him yell at me on the couch because it was pitch dark. I couldn't see. And I'm opening up his bedroom door, and sure enough, he was sound asleep in his room. He wasn't even
something
downstairs.
was mimicking him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it mimicked my dog before, and it also mimicked my stepdad, Jack. I heard him yell my sister Heather's name. Yeah, it was during the day, and my grandma was sitting in the living room, and we heard up the stairs. We were upstairs, and I heard Jack's voice say, "Heather." And Heather and I both said, "Yeah, Jack," at the same time. And Grandma was like, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "Well, we're talking to Jack." He goes, "Well, he's not here." So, yeah, and it mimicked my dog, too, which, I don't know if you guys believe in the out-of-body experiences where people or animals will leave their body and be at different places.
I think it's possible.
I kind of had that experience with my dog, and it also in my house. I was downstairs doing laundry, and a lot of time my dog Poochie would come down there with me. And I was just gathered my laundry, was getting ready to go up the steps, and I see Poochie behind me. I said, "Come on, Pooch, just go upstairs." And he wouldn't come. So I said, "Okay, I guess you'll come up when you're ready to come up." So I just shut the basement door, and he was scratched at the door when he was ready to come in upstairs. So as I'm walking from the basement, I shut the door, and I'm walking around the corner to take my laundry upstairs to my room. My dog Poochie comes running down the stairs from upstairs in the bedroom.
I remember you telling me this.
And I'm like, Poochie, didn't I just leave you in the basement? How the heck did you get upstairs past me to come back downstairs again? So, yeah, it was, so I don't know if Poochie was having astral projection at the time, or if something was mimicking him and pretending to be my dog. I don't know, but he was in two places at once.
That's definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's been more things that happened over there.
The house is empty. We could all go there sometime if you want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to make a time with you guys, because right now everything's in disarray. Let me tell you why. My stuff's in there, my son Colbert's stuff's in there, and my son Kyle's stuff in there. So it's a big storage unit right now.
Gotcha.
You still have all that the haunted items of ours, don't you?
I do. It's still on the shelf over there. I have the bell and the doll. Mm-hmm. I have my grandfather's haunted cane. What else did I have? The mirror. The mirror's still hanging up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still have them.
And we have the bell.
I do have. Yes, the bell. The bell's hanging on the wall as well.
Okay. So you hung the mirror up?
I hung it up. I did, and it's got a. I put a. Well, it's not there now. My son took it down, but it had a black cloth that I kept over it to cover it. But,
okay. Because I remember we got attacked by that squirrel when we brought it over.
Oh my gosh, that little guy was mad.
Yeah, he tried to attack us.
When you took carrying the mirror?
Yeah, we got I got asked to bless a house, and the lady asked me to remove this mirror. She said this mirror creeped her out, so we took it, and we got over to Tracy's with it, and a squirrel tried to attack us.
Yeah,
maybe it was rabid.
It could have been, but that little guy was not happy with what we were doing. And I told Jamie, we should just back up. He's not happy. Yeah, I really honestly thought he was going to jump out of the tree and land on one of us.
He ran down to the ground and chased us. He did. He was.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he did. Little stinker. He did.
He chased you?
Yeah. He was up in the tree yelling at us and barking and yelling and hollering. So,
Tracy, how long did it take for Harvest to train you on paranormal investigating?
Wait, what? No. I know. Me and Jamie trained Harvest. Harvest trained you.
Well, she said she taught you everything you knew.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. You're full of it right now, mister.
I don't know if I told you, John. I've got a script. I sent it to Harvest. I did tell you. Mm-hmm. Did you talk to Allison?
No, I haven't. I forgot actually.
Yeah, I've got the script wrote up. We're gonna be recording an opening, like an intro, like kind of how I have Joe Bacon on my ministry, like introducing the podcast. We're gonna be recording one. Leo's gonna turn the voices into EVP. That's gonna welcome people into the show.
Awesome.
Yeah, she told me about that. She's, I think she's looking forward to doing
She
that.
can read?
She said she's a little nervous.
Yeah, she can say it. She can say what she's gonna say as many times as she wants. We're just gonna try to get it right. I don't know if we're gonna have them whisper it into the microphone and make it easier or what, but.
You know, EVP's coming all types of sounds anyway.
Yeah.
So she can't get it wrong.
No, I want to make it right. I want it to sound good, like where people can hear what they're saying, but at the same time, like make it sound like it's a real EVP.
Yeah, I think she'd have fun with that. Absolutely. But
Awesome.
yeah, I miss doing the paranormal. I really do. I haven't went on a case in a long time. Like I said, the things that I've done has just been, you know, for tour purposes. But nonetheless, they were still interested, and I took a lot of pictures of the place, especially in Tombstone. You know, you're allowed to take photos, just hoping that I would get something. Now, my boyfriend Edward, not the time I was looking, but he caught a face in a mirror, which, you know, mirror reflections can be so easily debunked. But this one was really good, and I tried to debunk it myself, and I could not. But I wasn't there to take the photo. But you know, I said, Edward, you sure there was no one down there with you? Because you know the part that the saloon part that he did it, they had a game, a poker. They would play poker down there, and a poker game lasted 8 years down there. And that's where he took the photo, and he said he was the only one down there. There was nobody else, and it wasn't like smudge on the mirror kind of reflection that you could see, you know, the color of the skin and what really looked like a man looking back at him in the mirror. So,
where was this at?
I did Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they took poker very seriously back in the Wild West.
Oh yeah, 8 years. 8 years of them was the longest poker game they had there. 8 years, and it was interesting. And you know, they still the original poker table and everything else is still down there. I also went while I was in Arizona. I went to the Boot Hill Cemetery as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you guys aware of the Boot Hill Cemetery?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was amazing. And off the Boot Hill Cemetery is a small trail that leads to I believe a Jewish cemetery as well, which I didn't get the chance to explore that, but I did walk all through the Boot Hill.
Boot Hill has is the famous location. There's a famous picture that was taken there.
And it shows a cowboy in the background.
Yep.
Blind.
Yep, and I stood in that spot too. I wanted to recreate that so bad. I was like, okay, this is where this picture was taken, and you know, of course, I didn't get nothing, but I was really hoping.
I know exactly what picture you're talking about.
Yeah, he's got the gun up like this.
Yep.
Yeah, I did, however, take a couple rocks from there. They told me I could. I asked permission. I said, "I'm going to take a couple rocks." And they said, "Yeah, sure." So I did.
There are rocks all over there. It's not like you're stealing anything like from the
building. Well, I took them right off the grave itself. They have the grave. Yeah, the graves have, you know, like rocks piled on top of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because and some of them are enclosed because I guess they had a lot of grave robbers back then. So, but to keep the animals from digging up the bodies out back then, they would pile big rocks on top of them. Of course, I took a couple little ones, but also a couple of the graves out there. Yeah, the Boot Hill Cemetery was very, very interesting haunted site as well. I'm ready to go back.
That's cool.
And my boyfriend being a truck driver, you know, we've been anywhere from Rhode Island to California, so we've been everywhere. There's a lot of stuff that we still want to go and see.
Yeah, I remember when you were down in New Orleans under the bridge when I saw it.
I was just getting ready to say, one of my favorite places was Louisiana, and we took a 34-hour reset there, and my first time experiencing their jambalaya. Ooh, that stuff's spicy.
Yeah, I make it when I make it. It's not.
Oh, it was.
Oh
it
yeah,
was
that's
good.
right. You're from
I'm
down south.
I'm from Louisiana. Yeah, I make gumbo, jambalaya, all that stuff.
I like
Boudin.
spicy, so I would probably like that down there.
I was worried about the gators though.
Go swimming with them.
They're not gonna hurt you. You can walk up to them and
Oh,
touch them on the
man.
nose. They won't hurt you.
Oh no! That's how we run. I get out the truck and kind of look underneath the semi truck and make sure there's no gators under there and gonna get me. Yeah, I'm not used to it. I'm from Ohio.
I know. And they want to. They won't attack you unless they think you're prey. That's usually when you're screaming, hollering, and running away from 'em.
Oh gosh. Great, thanks for that heads up, Jim. That way next time I'm there, I'll know.
Yeah, you can walk up to them and touch them on the nose. They ain't gonna bother you unless they're mad.
No,
That's usually if you're on their grounds, like where they have
no,
their
no,
nest.
thank you. I'm not about crocodiles.
What you need to be worried about more down in Louisiana is the water moccasins.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, we have those here. You know, we got water moccasins. They're black snakes, right? Yeah, we got.
With big white mouths.
Oh
Where
yeah,
they open their mouth
yeah.
up as white.
Yeah, we got them here too. So I'm kind of, used to those guys. I'm not like when I was a kid. I loved to go fishing and swimming. I was a fish myself. I'm Pisces, but nowadays I'm just too old to handle that kind of stuff. Mm-mm. But I'll never give up my paranormal investigating. I just love it too much.
John's getting texts
So-
over there.
Oh, I was just getting ready to ask him what's going on with the Bel Air house, what they're doing.
Same old. I'm planning on going there sometime within a month, I think.
Yeah, you should go sometime, Janie, and check it out. I think you'll love it.
He's been talking about having me go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking about going to some places and doing podcasting from there.
Oh, yeah. That's funny because I was going to mention that when you guys were talking about where you want to do podcasts. I was going to mention maybe going to the Bel Air. Maybe you'll get something while you're doing a podcast. That would be interesting.
That would be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that Edward and I think I'm going to be going to St. Louis here soon, this month, maybe as soon as next weekend, for the Halloween, and the things that they got there is like the Lit Brewery. They have a haunted attraction in the Lit Brewery that is supposed to be, it's an underground attraction that I really want to go check out too for Halloween. And I want to spend the night at the Lit Mansion too, because I love the Lit Mansion. And the owner's a friend of mine, so that would be interesting to go and stay there. All the stories that you hear there. And I think there was like 3 suicides there, so of the same family.
Yeah.
The Lit family. Yeah.
That's that episode of Ghost Adventures that made me decide that he wasn't allowed at the museum.
Who, Zach?
Yeah.
Why? What do you do in that?
You haven't watched that one?
No.
He had like actors reenacting all the suicides.
Oh.
Yeah.
When he started out, he was doing that at that too, and I thought, you really shouldn't provoke like that. But everybody has their own way of doing things. But yeah, it's
Disrespectful.
I think that's just disrespectful. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, look that episode up.
Where is this at?
Lit Mansion. It's in St. Louis.
Yeah, I'll definitely look that up.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's when you're walking downstairs. It's also a bar and restaurant downstairs, and they have events there too, which I was recently talking to Edward about too, where they do all kinds of different this time of the year. they host all kinds of events, and a lot of them they want you to dress up for that event, because of the reenactors that are there. But um, they have murder mystery uh, events there a lot. But I would like to do one of their murder mystery events. That would be interesting.
Well, Children of the Grave 2 had they Children of the Grave 2 went there too to the Limp Mansion.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, it's okay. I was going to say, that's where Keith Age took that door off or whatever it was.
Yes, when you mentioned that, it reminded me. I also have been down Zombie Road as well,
Mm-hmm.
and that was featured in Children of the Grave 2, I believe. And
Yeah.
just made a new one. Keith and the Bruce brothers just made a new one. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'd have to look into that. Christopher, we're talking to Christopher about being on the podcast.
Okay.
I don't know when that'll be, but he's researching the podcast before he comes on it, so he's gonna be listening to some episodes, I think.
Oh wow. Yeah, Edward and I walked down Zombie Road, and I was talking to Keith Age as we were walking down Zombie Road, because I wanted to ask Keith where the best part was to find this, that, and the other, because they had taken those photos of all those kids up on the hill and in the trees, and
Yeah.
he told me it was around the bridge. Well, Edward and I walked all the way down one end and down the other, and we could not find the bridge, but we were just shy of it. We just had missed it. So I figured, okay, that's just my luck. So our plans are to walk down Zombie Road again, which is a very long walk, by the way. I think when Keith and the Booth brothers filmed Children of the Grave there, it was a dirt path at the time. It has now been paved over. And there's a lot of people, bicycles, because it has become a bicycle path now for people. But it's still a very beautiful walk, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys ever get a chance to go to St. Louis and explore Zombie Road, I would absolutely recommend that too.
Why do they call it Zombie Road?
You know what? That's a good question. I do not know. I might have to research that.
Interesting.
I mean, the locals. I mean, it's called something else as well. I can't remember the name of it. My memory's so bad. But I know it is Zombie Road. And if you look for Zombie Road when you're trying to find a GPS, you might have a hard time finding it because the locals call it something else. So.
Yeah.
But they know if you would go and ask them, where's Zombie Road, they know exactly what you're talking about. And that's how we end up finding it. But it is also a very interesting place to go. And I also recommend Alton. Alton, Illinois it's covered in limestone, and it had a very famous prison there that is now torn down. But there's still some remains of that prison up there that is full of energy. And almost, from what my understanding, almost every building in Alton, Illinois is haunted. And Edward and I walked through their cemetery there, and it's a very beautiful old cemetery. And I caught some shadow people in my photos that I couldn't be bumped. It wasn't a shadow off a tree, or it wasn't a shadow off a tombstone. If I ever get a chance, I will send it to you guys, and you guys can look at the pictures and give me your opinion. But
we're always open for that.
Yeah, me too. I love, just like at the townhouses here in Fostoria. I've had so many people talking to me about this same old little spirit that's running. They'll be recording their kids, and all of a sudden they'll see a flash of a shadow figure just zooming past them. I mean, nobody can move that fast. Nobody, no human can move that fast. So, every time we would get a case to go out there, they would move out, and I didn't get a chance to go and investigate it. But I'd like to go check that out sometime too. My son lives out there, so maybe. There's been a lot of paranormal experiences out at the townhouses too.
Yeah, she's speaking of Alton, Illinois, and that's where Joel's from.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the guy that does our music, he's from Alton, Illinois.
Oh, then yeah, and he can tell you a lot about more than I can tell you because he's from there.
Yeah,
about the house.
He's He's a really nice guy. If you haven't listened to, if you've listened to any episodes, that's the one I'm gonna be referring people. If you're gonna listen to any episode of an EVP, go listen to Joel. We had a lot of fun with him. He's really into Mothman and Bigfoot and stuff like that. He's more into that than he is ghosts.
We went to a bridge too. My sister Candy and I were a young lady not that long before that had jumped off to her death, and the bridge is, I think, it has something to do with the Mothman too. I didn't know a whole lot of the history of that bridge, so I would have to ask Candy the name of the bridge because I don't remember.
All right.
Let me go ask.
Okay.
Candy, what was the name of that bridge that we went to in Kentucky that the girl had fallen from? You remember?
No.
Oh, darn it. Okay. She don't remember either, but it was a very interesting bridge.
But this one's running a little bit long. We're at an hour and 5 minutes in. So, Tracy, is there any place that we can let the groups know to contact you besides your Facebook?
No, all I really have is a Facebook, and I don't have a whole lot of social media
Okay.
sites, but yeah, my Facebook. You guys can contact me on my Facebook. I got two actually. It's Tracy L. Cramer and Tracy Lynn Cramer.
Okay. All right, well, hang on there for just a little bit. Me and John have something to tell the people real quick. And besides that, from me and John, I just want to say thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Man, John, that was another fantastic episode, bro. Now, before we end the episode today, I think we should take just a moment to thank our sponsor, man, Coffee Brand Coffee, man. They have that supernatural elixir for anyone who has a taste for exceptional brews without any gimmicks.
Now, dear listeners, let me share something truly otherworldly with you. Coffee Brand Coffee isn't your average Joe. No, they're the antidote to those flashy, empty promises from other coffee companies. These folks know that what matters is a cup of fresh roasted magic, not just marketing tricks.
And also, bro, I think we should also tell them, man, here's another kicker. Their fulfillment and roasting centers are right here in the United States, bro. They're not like all over the, other place. Not like those other brands that are out there that have like they take care of the attention to the details.
Yeah, and they've got a collection of 12 tantalizing coffee blends from all corners of the world. Picture yourself sipping on a cup of their exquisite cocoa, tea, or coffee. The aromas, the flavors, it's like a paranormal journey for your taste buds.
Now, let us tell you guys this, okay? They have all these reviews. There's over 4,000 verified customer reviews. And the majority of them, John, man, you saw it on here, bro. There's a solid 5 out of 5. You don't need to take my word for it, no. You don't have to take John's word for it. Just let those real customers speak for themselves.
But here's the real kicker, folks. Coffee Brand Coffee doesn't just offer you a product off the shelf. No, they wait until your order comes in before they fire up the roaster. Timing's everything, you see. Coffee loves its mojo 7 to 10 days after roasting. With these guys, you get the freshest cup straight from the roaster to your doorstep.
That's right, and let me tell you about their commitment to quality. Their sustainability it goes from the farm to your cup. They source only the finest beans, and they focus on eco-friendly practices and direct trading relationships with the growers. They even visit the farms themselves just to make sure that everything is ethical and sound.
Small farms, co-ops, sustainability, it's all part of their dedication to making sure everyone in the coffee community thrives. You can taste the difference in every sip.
So, if you're ready for a paranormal coffee experiences, one that will leave you bewitched, I want you to head over to Coffee Brand Coffee. Remember, use our referral link down below when you make your order. And also, we have a code too. Our code is EVPOD. Use that when you apply it towards your subscription. But as long as you use our link, you're supporting this show. And if you use that EV pod, you'll support the show with every sip. Because let me tell you, I've been noticing a lot of people are clicking the link, but nobody's using the code. So me and John, we're not getting any credit for you guys' business over there. So come on, guys, use the link below and use our code EVPOD. From me and John, I want to say thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Has it been since I left this place?